Hello and welcome to my kitchen. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make Chana Bhuna, which is a delicious chickpea curry that's vegan, it's slightly sweet and sour, and it's very simple to make. And this recipe comes from my Chandrakant mama, who's my uncle, who unfortunately he recently passed away. So I dedicate this recipe in his memory, and he was such an amazing chef and such an inspiration to me. So thank you very much for inspiring me. And on that note, let's get cooking. So in this recipe, I'm going to use tinned chickpeas. So I've got two 400-gram cans of chickpeas here. If you do want to soak your chickpeas, then you'll need about 3/4 of a pound, which is 45 grams of dry chickpeas soaked overnight and then boiled until they're nice and soft. You also need plenty of onions in this curry. So I've got two medium-sized onions, which I'm going to peel and slice up, and green peppers. So I would have had two small green peppers. I only had one. So I'm going to add a red one. It doesn't really matter, but you need like two small peppers to slice up and add to this curry. So it is important how you cut up the onion. So we're going to cut the onion in half lengthways and then cut it in half again halfway and then slice it. And you don't want them too thin because it is kind of nice to get a bite of onion while you're eating this curry. And the peppers, just cut them into fairly large chunks and remove the ribs. Now, one of the things to note in this curry is that the amount of onions and peppers you have should be about the same, and it's a good amount of vegetables in proportion to the chickpeas. So you just have slightly more chickpeas than you do the vegetables. So now that I've prepped my vegetables, I'm going to start cooking. So I've got a medium saucepan here, which is a 2.5 quart saucepan, and I'm going to start my heat on a medium high heat, the number 7. I'm going to add 1/4 cup of oil to the pan. Once the oil's heated up a little bit, I'm going to add a cinnamon stick in there. I love the fragrance of cinnamon in this curry. So we're just going to let that sizzle. Then in goes 1/2 teaspoon of mustard seeds and 1/2 teaspoon of cumin seeds. We're just going to let that pop, and I have my lid handy so it doesn't go everywhere. And then I'm going to go ahead and add the onions in there. And then give that a stir. And we just want to cook these until they're kind of pink in color. You just want them cooked through. So make sure you keep stirring the onions in here every now and then. And these onions help the curry to become a little bit sweet, but also the sweet and sour flavor will come from a little bit of ketchup in there and some tomato puree as well. Alright, so my onions are cooked through and they did go slightly brown, so I've turned my heat down. Now I'm going to add the rest of the ingredients. So I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of ginger garlic chili paste, 1 tablespoon of ketchup, 3 tablespoons of tomato puree, 1 teaspoon of Garam Masala, and 1 teaspoon of salt. And that's it. There's no turmeric in there or red chili powder or anything else. So we're going to give this a stir. And I'm going to turn my heat back up to a medium heat, the number 5. I'm going to add my peppers in here too. And it already smells amazing. So we'll let this cook for a minute or two. All right, once you can smell that the masalas have had a minute or two to cook, then we're going to add in the chickpeas. And look at that, it's so nice and colorful. It looks good with the red and the green peppers in there. So again, I'm going to let this cook for another minute or two with the lid on, and then we're going to add some water to this. Now, it really is an honor for me to share one of my uncle's recipes, because he really was an amazing chef and has so many recipes. He actually wanted to write a recipe book, which I'm sure will happen at some point. But on one of my last visits with him, I remember him saying to me that what I was doing these videos and sharing recipes, was a very good thing, and he gave me his blessing. So I feel really privileged to be able to share one of his recipes. So definitely try it. It's very simple, and you saw how simple it is to make it. It doesn't need like 100 ingredients, and it's very, very tasty. All right, so now I'm going to add some water in here. And you can add as much or as little as you like. So we like to have this with naan or butterah, so just so that it's not too dry, we add a little water in here. I'm going to add a little bit more, and this is hot water from the kettle. So I'm going to let this cook up for a minute or two again, and then I'm going to taste it and see if it's sweet and sour enough for me. If not, I'm going to add a little bit more ketchup in there. I'll also adjust the salt if needed. I think it needs a little bit more ketchup, so I'm going to add another tablespoon of ketchup in here. And you can adjust this to your taste. But being Gujarati, we definitely like our sweet and sour. So in total, I've added 2 tablespoons of ketchup in here. And for my taste, I am going to add another 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to add a little bit more water in here as well. I'm just going to turn down the heat to a medium-low, the number 2, and let this simmer for about 5 to 7 minutes. So this has been going for about 5 minutes, and I just want to check the chickpeas are nice and tender. Yeah. They're nice and soft. So I'm going to turn off my heat now. I'm going to sprinkle it literally with a pinch of Garam Masala and a little bit of coriander. And my curry is done. So there you have it. That's how you make my uncle's Chanda Mama's recipe for Chana Bhuna. And as this curry sits, the flavors of the peppers, the cinnamon, the onions, and all the spices come together even better, and it tastes actually really good the following day. So hopefully you'll have some leftovers to try it the following day. It also gets a little bit spicy because of the heat of the spices in the garam masala. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And I hope you share this recipe with your friends and family so that my uncle's recipe will live on forever. I'll see you all soon for some more cooking inspiration.